Let me guess. You learned that when the two lines cross upward, you buy, and when they cross downward, you sell. You tried it. It worked twice, then handed you 4 losses in a row, and you decided crossovers are a beginner trap. They are not a trap. You were taking every single one of them, and only about a third of them were ever worth taking. Here is the whole crossover strategy, properly, with the filter that separates the ones that pay from the ones that bleed you. 3 rules and 1 entry. No extra indicators, nothing to buy. And the third is the one that changes everything, so stay with me even if you already know the first 2. Rule 1. A crossover only counts on the correct side of the zero line. Think about what that line actually represents. Above 0, the fast average is above the slow one. Broader momentum is already upward. Below 0, it is downward. So a bullish crossover that happens below 0 is a market that has been falling and is now turning. That is a genuine reversal forming, and it is the highest quality version of this signal. A bullish crossover that happens well above 0 is different. Momentum was already up. The tool dipped briefly, and now it is crossing back. That is not a reversal. It is a wobble inside a move that was already running. Those still work sometimes, but they are continuation signals, not turns, and they need the trend behind them. So the first filter is simply this. For a buy, you want the cross happening below 0, ideally with the whole thing curling up out of a deep low. For a sell, above 0, curling down. Quick thing first, there's a free trading guide linked in the description. Grab it, it'll sharpen everything you're about to learn. Rule 2. And this is the one that fixes the 4 losses in a row problem. The cross has to happen with real separation, not while the 2 lines are tangled together on top of the 0 line. Picture a flat, going nowhere market. The 2 lines drift along, practically touching, weaving over and under each other. Every one of those weaves registers as a crossover. In a genuinely quiet market, you can get 5 or 6 of them in a session, and every single one is meaningless because there is no momentum behind any of it. The fix is visual and takes 1 second. Look at the histogram. If the bars around your crossover are tiny, barely visible, hugging the 0 line, that crossover is noise. If the bars are visibly growing away from 0, right after the cross, something real is happening. Small bars, skip it. Bars expanding, take it. That single check removes most of the losing trades from this strategy. Rule 3, and this is the one that turns a decent strategy into a consistent one. Check the direction of the bigger picture before you take the cross. Pull up a time frame roughly 4 or 5 times larger than the one you are trading. If you are on the 5-minute, glance at the 30-minute. You are not looking for a signal up there, just a direction. Is the larger picture leaning up or leaning down? Then, only take crossovers that agree with it. A bullish cross on your 5-minute chart, while the 30-minute is clearly rolling over, is you buying into selling pressure from much bigger participants. Sometimes it works anyway. Structurally, you are swimming upstream. Why it matters, the larger time frame is where the larger orders live. When your signal agrees with it, you have size behind you. When it disagrees, you are the size fighting it. This filter cuts your trade count roughly in half again. That feels like a loss, until you see what it removed. Almost exclusively the trades that go against you immediately, because those are the ones where bigger money was pushing the other way the entire time. Now let's build the actual trade. Your entry comes after the cross, not on it. Wait for the candle where the crossover happens to close, confirming it actually crossed, rather than teasing and snapping back. Then enter on the open of the next candle. You give up a few cents of price, and you avoid a whole category of fake crossovers that reverse within the same candle. And be strict about that. A candle that pokes across and then closes back on the original side did not cross. The lines touched. If you enter on the poke, you are taking a signal the market itself withdrew, and those fail far more often than they work. Waiting for the close costs you a little price on the winners and saves you the entire loss on a whole category of fakes. Your stop goes below the most recent swing low, the low that formed while the tool was bottoming out before it crossed. That is the price that proves the reversal failed. If the market takes out that low, the turn you were trading did not happen, and you want out small. Your target is the most recent swing high above you, a price the market already reached once, which makes it a reasonable place to expect it might reach again. Look at the shape that gives you. Because you entered right after a bottom, your stop is close underneath. Because you are targeting a prior high after a decline, the distance up is usually much larger. That is commonly a 1-to-3 or better. And that ratio is what lets this strategy be wrong plenty of times and still finish ahead. Let me walk one through exactly as it happens. The market has been selling off for a couple of hours. The main line is deep below zero, well separated from the signal line, and the histogram bars are large and red. Then the bars start shrinking. 3 candles later, they are almost nothing, and the lines converge. The cross happens. You check rule 1, we are below zero, good. You check rule 2, the histogram immediately starts building green bars, growing each candle, and the 30-minute is leaning up with you. All 3 pass. You wait for that crossover candle to close, then enter on the next open. Your stop goes under the swing low from the bottoming process. Your target is the prior swing high. Then you leave it alone and let it work. If price runs to target, you collect several times your risk. If it takes out the low, you are out for a small, planned loss, and the reason is legitimate. The reversal genuinely failed, rather than you guessing wrong. One thing on managing it, because most people ruin good crossover trades by sitting in them too long. The histogram gets you out as well as in. Once you are in and it is working, keep watching those bars. They should be growing in your direction. When they stop growing and start shrinking, the momentum that got you in is fading. That is, your cue, the easy part of the move, is behind you. You have 2 reasonable choices. Take part off and let the rest run with your stop at break even. Or close the whole thing and wait for the next setup. What is not reasonable is holding a full position, while the indicator that got you in is telling you the move is finished. And leave that stop alone until the trade is genuinely in profit. Tightening it early, before price has traveled anywhere, is the fastest way to turn a working strategy into a losing one. You get shaken out at exactly the noise level the stop was placed to survive. Now the mistake that undoes people who have learned all 3 rules. Taking the crossover in a market that has no business being traded at all. If the market is flat, if the 2 lines are glued to the zero line, if the histogram is invisible, the answer is not a better entry. The answer is that there is no trade here. This tool is a momentum indicator, and in a market with no momentum, it will generate signals endlessly, and every one of them is a coin flip. Standing aside on those sessions will save you more money than any refinement to your entry. So here is the whole strategy. The cross must happen on the correct side of zero. The histogram must expand away from zero right after it. The bigger time frame must agree. Enter on the next candle's open, stop below the swing low, target the prior swing high, and on flat days, do nothing. What could that do realistically? Let's do the arithmetic. Say those 3 filters leave you 2 clean crossover trades a week instead of 8. You risk $200 each, and you win a little over half at 3-to-1. That is roughly $600 won against $200 lost in a normal week, around $400 clear, so somewhere near $1,600 a month, growing with your account. Most of that comes from the 6 trades you no longer take. And here is where we go next. All 3 rules here exist to filter out false signals. So the next video is entirely about why those false signals happen in the first place, and the setting that causes most of them. I'll see you there.